Go. Unboxed on Purpose, produced for Favored by the Father Ministries, a church without walls. Wow, it is Thanksgiving Day, and today I have invited a few people who have helped me to elevate Favored by the Father Ministries into a digital presence. Yes, you've got to the right place. This is Unboxed on Purpose, and I am Barbara Arlene Fields Brehon, your host. I am thankful today to the Lord for the models of ministry from aspects that I had not considered until collaborations with these people whom you see today. In their own way, they provided prototypes for the Unboxed on Purpose podcast format. And so our guests are joining from 3 different time zones. Some of them appeared already on our show from the memorable moments that we had with Favor. We celebrated our 21st ministry anniversary during the month of August, but all of them have appeared on Unboxed on Purpose at least twice. So they're on stage already. And let me start with Kimberly Holmes. She was on episode 7 and 34. I call her the chief. She's my chief ministry partner, executive assistant. She helped develop our digital app and does so much behind the scenes. She is my mentee. She is my sister and my friend. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Dot. How are you?
I'm pleased as punch.
I know you are.
Also, we have with us Chad Burmeister. He is the podcast premiere and episode 20, season 1 guest. He interviewed me on podcast episode 20. We flipped the script. Why would I let Chad have the premiere? Why would I let Chad interview me and nobody has done that since? He is my Christian business mentor. He increased my LinkedIn connections, developed outreach strategies and campaigns that help shift my mindset about current administrative techniques for doing ministry using social media. He connected me with very tangible, several human resources. He took me to a lot of technical skills to boost me. He taught me so much to boost my ministry visibility in this technological world. He helped me develop our new website. He helped develop this podcast, Unboxed on Purpose. He is always available. He is dependable. He is my friend. Hey, Chad.
Well, you're part of the family, Barbara. You know, I don't know if you know this, but my kids have initials BB, both kids. My mom goes by Grandma BB. And so you're a sister indeed. So I am more than pleased to participate in making sure that the world knows BB. So,
all right, BB in the house with CB.
Partnership.
I love you, honey. I love you. Not only do I love him, but another love of my life is Wade Fransson. He appeared on podcast episode 3 and has had me on his podcast multiple times. Chad has had me on his podcast as well. He is a friend. He is a business mentor also. I modeled my podcast after what Chad and Wade have put together for the podcast that they do. He was the first to ever feature me as a podcast guest to talk about my book, Blooming for Christ. Wade is that guy that flew me to Arizona to share with his team. He includes me in multiple endeavors. And yeah, he's my friend. Hey, Wade.
Hey, Barbara, thank you so much for your just enthusiasm and the way in which you're elevating everybody that you come into contact with. What an honor.
God knows it is my honor to be locking arms with all of you. And the lovely lady, Runita Hill, who appeared in episodes 2 and 31, is someone that I met through LinkedIn outreach, Chad. And she was not a direct level. She was a level 3 because somebody knew somebody who introduced me. Well, no, you need to talk to her about what you're trying to do. And now she is my ministry partner. She is a mentee. She leads an amazing transformation ministry that you find on our website that you helped me create, Chad. It's called Plan You. So if you tap transformation, it will take you straight to her website. Hey, Runita Hill, how are you today?
I am doing well and so happy to be here on today. Thank you so much for having me.
God bless you, sweetheart. You are a gem. And last but certainly not least, we have Bulinda Wright-Jones. She appeared in episodes 12 and 36. And again, I met her through LinkedIn Outreach. She is a woman of God. She is a sister. She is a podcaster. She promotes our work, our events, our resources on her show. And we have swapped shows multiple times over the last year that we've known each other. Welcome aboard, Bulinda Wright-Jones.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. And Chad, it's good to see you. Chad played a big part in that with connecting us. And I'm so grateful for that. And it's funny, since Chad first connected us, we have collaborated. I believe it's been 6 times together. Yeah, so it's been a blessing. So thank you. Thank you.
Let us get right into it. The entire show, the rest of the show is about giving thanks to God on this Thanksgiving Day. So let's start our discussion with who else? Chad Burmeister. Then we'll go to each person. You jump in. I won't call names. I'm just going to be quiet as much as I can and let you all have conversation with each other, giving thanks to God for what he has done for you, your ministry, how it's grown, whatever it is that you want to share. We have open mic, but I think we'll start with Chad.
You know what I've learned about thanks to God? Luckily, I have a grandfather, Harold Schilling, who taught me Christian values and to have a relationship with God at a very young age. And he was in the Navy, as was my grandmother. And what I've learned over the years is that not everybody has that luxury of having an introduction to God and to Jesus at a young age. And what I've learned through experience is that when you go through tough times is where I've found most people have a lot of times their first experience with the love of God. And so I just came back from the Pro Player Prayer Project in Nashville about 2 weeks ago. And Luis Sharp was there. Luis Sharp played in 3 Pro Bowls, and yet he was shot in the chest twice. He made some bad decisions in life, and he served a 6-year prison sentence. And yet he met God in that prison. And now he's out sharing the love of God with everyone. And so I just bring this message on this Thanksgiving that if you're going through tough times, or if you're not, be thankful. And if you run into somebody else who's going through tough times, make sure they understand, because you may be the first experience they have with God. So, man, I just have to say, I'm so thankful to be part of this movement and Unboxed and Unleashed and a ministry without walls. It's just, it's where I think as a world we need to be. And you don't have to be in a church. We're in the church, and it's right here, right now. So I'm just so thankful for everybody here and to play a part in work for God. And I think if we all work for God a little bit more, imagine what we can do in the world.
Thanks.
Absolutely. I will jump right in, because when you spoke about someone being incarcerated, that just touched me in a special way, because Plan You Inc., we work with justice impacted persons, and it is our honor to have been chosen by God to work with them as they transform in some of their darkest moments. and knowing that a God loves them, even if they make their beds in hell, that his love for them does not change, and that he cares so much that he sent a group of people, not just one person, but he sent a group of people to tell them how valuable and how important they are. So I'm so glad that you are a witness to that, because he gives me that opportunity each and every day to tell someone that, yeah, what you did, it may have been pretty bad. Yeah, your experience may have been horrific, but guess what? There is a God that loves you so much that he sent his only begotten son so that you could be reconciled with the Father and celebrate one day in that new Jerusalem. But in the meantime, you can have life and have it more abundantly. So thank you so much, Chad, for bringing that up. I am so thankful to God that he would use someone like me for such a time as this. Yes, thank you.
Amazing. I've met more people who have, Billy Dyson, 33 arrests, served jail sentences. And yet on the 33rd time, every time leading up to 33, he said he would say, all right, God, this time I'm giving it over to you. And he gave over 97%, but he kept the 3. And he said, finally, on the 33rd time, I surrender my entire being and my life to you. And that was when everything changed for him. And if, I got to go travel with Billy to a couple of different places in Florida. I still stay in touch with him now. And this man, his Bible is so torn at the edges because he's in it every day. And I think a lot of us are, Christian, weekend Christians. And then there are people, Billy and Louis Sharp, and at so many people. Zach Abram, I met. Man, this guy played for Mizzou. He was a running back. Everybody knows him. He lost his son 4 years ago, and he shared the story. He was 19. He was about to become a pilot. And now 4 years later, God has gotten him through those tough times, and he's now able to witness and share that my son's an amazing son. I was so happy to have 19 years with him, and I will see him again. So, man, it's so good to be here. Wade, what's going on with you? I was so excited when Barbara flew out to Arizona. When we started working together and doing LinkedIn outreach, I just followed God's orders, right? And so that's what I do. I help people with their outreach. And then you showed up, and there was Barbara in a trip to Arizona. I got to see it on video. Man, what's going on with you on this beautiful Thanksgiving?
I'm just sitting here in the glow and inspiration of the stories that are being shared. And my reaction is that reconciliation to God that was made possible through Jesus' sacrifice is also instrumental in reconciling us to each other, right? And there are two sides of this issue. You've got those who are in despair because of the way their sins have weighed them down. And then you have those who may have had an Elijah experience where they've done something actually quite amazing on God's behalf or for God or with the help of God. And yet they feel alone, right? And now this is being pre-recorded live in the election season. It will be aired after the election. And we know how this country is being ripped apart with people on all sides of any imaginable issue, just blaming and shaming everybody else, right? So the reconciliation that we have with each other and that this nation needs to heal is equally important in this context. And what we were able to do in that trip to Arizona was really go deep into this idea of being unboxed and reaching out to any and everybody, because God sends the rain on everyone. He sends the sun on everyone, right? And he reaches out to everyone no matter what their circumstances. And he wants us to be reconciled to each other as we are being reconciled to him. And I'm just so grateful to what everybody here is doing in that path of service to God and to each other.
This church without walls concept really hits home for me because I was raised Lutheran, and recently I traveled to North Carolina, and the pastor said, "Oh, you're not part of this Lutheran path. So you have to cross your arms. You're not allowed to take communion here." And I was like, think about an outsider coming in and saying, those people up at the altar, why are they getting to get communion and celebrate with the life of Jesus? And I can't. I was even raised Lutheran. So I go to the two things. My grandfather sent me a letter in 8th grade that was handwritten, and it said it's 10 things, but the top 2 were the ones that have stuck with me through life. And probably everybody on this call has the exact same 2 that come to mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul and might, right? The might piece means you have to work at it. It's not just automatic all the time. So might. And number 2, love your neighbor as yourself. And so your neighbor is people that you run into on the side of the road, people that are serving you at a coffee shop. And that became more clear to me when my son faced a burn accident about 4 years ago. He had 2nd, 3rd degree burns on his face and hands, and he was cooking on a grill on the stove at his apartment in Golden, Colorado, and it blew up, right? He put it underwater, and so it blew up in his face. And for 3 weeks, we didn't know if his face was going to come back. And so we got on our knees and prayed and said, God, I've never asked you for a miracle. I'm asking you for one now. And 3 weeks later, his gauze was taken off his face and it was completely healed, and it was completely off both sides of his hands. And so it was one of those miracle moments that you read about in the Bible that happened today. During those times, I would be walking past somebody and I said, okay, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, that your neighbor is like your son. So if your son was burned badly and you would do anything for that person, what if we all went around and said, Barbara, what are you trying to accomplish? You want to put a website up? You want to get your message out? You want to get fantastic. Let me help you as if you're my son. Like I care about you that deeply and that much. And I think that's what we all need to get our hearts and minds around are those 2 instructions. And they're not that hard. Not political. They're just the top 2 things. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and might. Love your neighbor as yourself. Neighbor defined as just like your family, just like yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself, right? So that's my message today for Thanksgiving. Love your neighbor as yourself. Bring them some food on this beautiful day. I mean, why not? Why not invite, right? You've got leftovers. Go bring some turkey to a neighbor. Whatever you got to do, man. It's Thanksgiving. Be thankful.
I'm just so thankful for the opportunity to partake in this special Thanksgiving episode. Just thankful and grateful for the new and blossoming relationships in my life. You know, God has been so good. We all have something to be thankful for. There is always something to be thankful for. Always. No matter what challenges, difficulties, or things that we may go through, because we all go through different things in life. But there should always be something that we can give thanks about, even if it's just to say, Lord, thank you that I'm able to take another breath, that I'm able to see, to hear, to think. Just, just having the ability to do things for yourself and being able to be around loved ones. Um, just there's always something that we should be giving thanks for. And I'm just thankful for life and just thankful for opportunities that God opens up where I can share my love for Christ and just thankful for how He's using me to share His goodness with others. So thank you again. I'm just so thankful to be here, just giving God all the glory. God bless, and just thank you for this time. Be blessed.
Be thankful. What do you think, Kim?
So I'm sitting in this room with some powerful people today, and I'm thankful for God for this moment. And I'm just basking in the presence. But this, after hearing everyone talk, this is what he said to me. He said, life is a teacher. Be thankful for the lessons. Take the limits off of religion and move closer to a relationship with me. Be thankful for being able to read the Bible from so many different perspectives, because some people just read the Bible just to be reading it. But some people read the Bible with the holes that are in their hearts. So today you may have a hole in your heart, going through a struggle, don't know where your next meal will come from. If you believe in God and have faith in Him and trust in Him, He will provide that meal for you. If you miss a loved one in heaven, close your eyes and meditate on that person. They're sitting right beside you, loving you, embracing you, giving you comfort, because He would do that for you. Whatever you need, God wants you to believe. Believe in Him and have faith. I'm a living testimony that, hey, my past is not pretty, but what I look like right now is nothing compared to what I've been through. I am thankful to God that He showed me that napkin, because if I didn't discover that napkin, I may not be on this call with you. So be thankful for the life that you live. Don't compare your life with anyone else. Be thankful for what you have, what you're accomplishing, and learn the lessons in life. And some of the kids in the today in the society, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Listen to your parents. Be thankful because they work hard for you every single day to give you everything that you possess. Create a lasting bond with them, because this Thanksgiving could be your last Thanksgiving that you spend with your parents. I don't get to spend time with my mother. My mother passed in 2008. And I wish and pray every day that I could sit there with her and just smile at Thanksgiving time. But what do? I fix the traditional meals.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm thankful for. And that's what I'm shooting for each of you to be thankful for. For you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He said it in His word. And so you have to believe it.
All of you have shared some powerful stories and how you are bonding today on this Thanksgiving episode is thrilling my heart, because many of you are meeting each other for the first time on this Unboxed on Purpose stage. And before we do any concluding moments with this 30-minute segment of ours, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about some things that are ahead of you. What are some of the things that you and the Lord have planned so that our listeners and viewers can tap into some of the things that you do and remain unboxed on purpose, stepping outside of comfort zones and places that society has tried to combine them in so that they could do the things. And all of you have so many different kinds of ministries that you do. Runita, what are some of the things coming up for Plan You?
Thank you so much. Well, Plan Youth, thankfully, we have a full schedule. The very first thing is our annual homeless community feeding that we do Thanksgiving morning, where we come together with some other organizations and we fix a traditional Thanksgiving meal for those that may not be sheltered and are displaced. We also have a clothes closet out there in our blessing bag so that they can know that someone is caring about them and thinking about them on Thanksgiving Day. We also have our angel tree coming up for those children whose parents are incarcerated, that we will be helping them. And then, oh boy, it's back again. The Well Woman Experience for Giver Conference, 6th annual, will be at the Hampton Roads Convention Center on March the 14th through the 15th. And we are so excited about what God always does when we all get together and meet at the well. When He starts pouring that living water, I tell you, we truly enter broken, but we leave well. And I'm so grateful for that. So there'll be more to follow. just connect with us on Plan You Inc. on all of social media as well as LinkedIn. We would love to share that information. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and happy Thanksgiving to you all.
God bless you. Runita's Plan You event that she's speaking about, that we're both praising God about, is the one that I attended last year. And all of a sudden, I sat there and realized that people that I had met via LinkedIn that allowed me to even be in contact with Runita for the first time were all in the room at the same time. We knew each other virtually, but had never seen each other face to face until her conference. And the young lady that Chad reached out to electronically to introduce me, she said, "No, I'm not the one." She said, "But the CEO of this group that I work with," and that was Runita. But that young lady, what was her name, Runita?
Lynn Fogarty.
Yeah, Lynn Fogarty was the one that connected us. And then with Runita's mission and the things that she's trying to do, I connected her with Quintus McDonald. She invited Quintus to come and participate. And here all four of us are in the room together. And it's like, wow, I can't believe this. So we did a photo op and all of that, bringing people together. And that's what we're thankful for, how we can come together, how we can lock arms from across various states, from across various ideologies, agreeing on the one thing, that we're created in the very image of God, Wade, created in the image of God to do God's will, to bring people together. And I called on Wade's name at that point because he does a podcast called What? Created in the Image of God. Would you speak to us a few minutes about what you've got planned for the next few months?
Absolutely, Barbara. So we have expanded the Created in the Image of God show. We're actually rebranding it as we enter into the new year, and we're launching a podcast network, right, of similar podcasts with a lot of great innovations to help amplify the message of each and every individual member. One of the things, we've just finished up our full season of spring, summer, fall planting, growing, and harvesting camps through the Royal Falcon Foundation. And we're going to be going back to the Desert Rose Baha'i Institute. I want to extend an invitation to you and perhaps some others here. You may not be familiar with that movement, but one of the founding figures, Abdul Baha, said that it is the religious duty to know and understand the Old and New Testaments. So we're working on an innovative workshop concept to make sure that everyone involved in the Desert Rose Baha'i Institute and associated with it is studying the Bible. And we want to invite Christian faith leaders to come and help explore and explain that with them. So that's something we're going to be doing in May. We're also furthering our relationship with that institution in terms of soil science and regenerative farming, because the Royal Falcon Foundation focuses on that growth cycle. And there's just so many different examples in the Bible related to agriculture. And, you know, we haven't maybe thought about it so much, but in this time of our evolution as a species, you've got this whole climate change issue and the planet and the health of the planet. But the very purpose, when God created male and female in his image, he created Adam first and he put him in a garden, and he was very clear about the purpose that Adam was given, even before he was given Eve, even before Eve was brought to him and created from his rib. He was told, I have put you in the garden to dress and keep it. And this beautiful blue jewel floating in space has to be maintained by those to whom God has put everything under our feet. He has given us command of all things on this planet, and he expects us to dress and keep it. So we're going to be strengthening our work in those fields and teaching our young people to learn that aspect of self-sustaining growing, harvesting. And this is something every young person can do, even in their room. Start a few plants, and we know what kind of plants and not certain other kind of plants that they should be growing in their rooms, right? Plants that will sustain them and help them be healthy. So anyway, I could go on, but thank you so much. Those are just a few of the things we'll be doing.
It sounds natural for me to ask Kim to piggyback off of that and tell us what she's doing, what's coming up for her. And if I'm on my way to back to Arizona, perhaps she'll be in the passenger seat with me.
Well, maybe
On the spot. But anyway,
Yeah.
what's going on with Kim?
So what's going on with Kim is I'm almost completing my doctoral, so I'm actually stepping back from a lot of things. I have only 3 classes left to take. But for Thanksgiving, I will be purchasing, as usual, me and my husband, and we purchase meals for the community. We don't prepare the meals for them. We actually purchase a full course meal and deliver it to their homes a couple of days prior to Thanksgiving. And what we do is we make sure that is done. And I am working on a community event as one of my projects. So I'm going to be looking forward to reaching out to you guys to help me design this project. I got an idea, but I don't want to give it away while I'm talking right now.
That's
So
right.
I'm excited. I'm just so excited, Doc.
It's going to work. We know it's going to work. She shared, obviously, with me. And she'll call on you when she needs to. She's got your contact information. And obviously, I saved Chad for last. Parting words, my dear. What's going on with you and what's coming up? And I had to begin and end with Chad.
January 2nd, 2023, Damar Hamlin went down on the field with a life-threatening injury and, in fact, died on the field. Dan Orlowski was one of the people who prayed for him. He was seeing people say, hope and prayers, hope and prayers, hope and prayers. But nobody was actually necessarily, there was probably some people praying, but he called it out on national television and said, let's just go ahead and pray for Damar. And as we all know, the end of the story is Damar is back. He just caught his first interception in the NFL recently. And so I bring that story up because we got together for the second year to pray for all NFL players by name and in the name of Jesus, unbeknownst to them. But we started texting people and said, you just got prayed for. And they're like, wow, that's amazing, right? And these were a lot of cool people in the room. Well, today I texted Darren this morning because Jay Cutler got arrested. And Jay Cutler played for Denver for a little while, and he got arrested on a gun possession and alcohol situation. And I said, Darren, what if we start sending a care kit or maybe he said, no, it has to be a text, 10 digits. That's how you get these players. What if they got a message that said, Jesus loves you. It's okay. We all make mistakes. And he said, wow, this is just a fabulous idea. And during this conversation, it just occurred to me, I always look for patterns and what's going on. What's the message? Jay Cutler's initials are JC. And I go back to what would Jesus do? And I go back to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and might. Love your neighbor as yourself. In this case, Jay Cutler's my neighbor. He's used to play for the Denver Broncos. He's not my official neighbor, but he's my neighbor. He's part of the family. So we've got to reach out to people. We've got to pray for people and pray without ceasing. We've got to have a relationship with God. This church without walls is where the world needs to move. And I'm just so excited and thankful to be part of this movement. We all work for God, not perfect, but God makes us perfect in we are made in his image. So I'm thankful for all of you. It's a pleasure to meet you. You just like I saw you on the video, you're the same guy. So it's great to meet you. Kimberly, good to meet you. And I'm so happy to be here. BB, it's great to be here as always. Love you.
I love you too. And we've got a whole lot more stuff coming up. We've got our fall fall spiritual retreat coming up November 14th and 15th, which means by the time we have Thanksgiving, we will be celebrating the fact that God showed up. But right now, I know that I will see some of you there. And I am so appreciative to God for you, the loves of my life coming together on stage virtually today to meet one another for the first time and to share with the collective audiences that we care about each other because of the love of God that flows through our veins. It's the same God, one for all of us. And so without further ado, I am going to give our closing moments to ask you to join us every week. We have expressions of people talking about how they stepped outside of comfort zones usually, but today we wanted to just pause and thank God for bringing us together and for allowing us to work together, because no matter what your situation, no matter what's going on in your life, you're not in it alone. There are others right in front of you. Use the resources that God has right in front of you. And they may not be what and who you think they ought to be, but God provided it for you. And so reach out, use what's in your hand, use what's available to you. Say thank you to those who have assisted you along the way. And then you do something that will assist somebody else right in the middle of the mess that you find yourself in. Join us every week as we unbox on purpose. It's not a mistake how God created you. It's not a mistake that God created you. It is not a mistake that you are who you are with your authentic identity. So unbox yourself, unrestrain yourself. Join us on Facebook Live. On Facebook, we don't go live. Join us on the Favorite by the Father YouTube channel, on our LinkedIn page. Most podcast platforms. We evolve like butterflies coming out of a box, allowing the Spirit of God to advance us to lofty, immeasurable heights in Him. So I want you to fulfill your purpose. I want you to continue to keep an unboxed gratitude for who God is in your life. And I want you to remain favored by the Father. I'll see you next week. And thanks again, everybody, for joining in today. Love you so much.